94.7 WCSX, Big Jim's House, and Donnie and Jenny. Okay, let's get right to it. Someone put this up on TikTok. A little warning for people at Starbucks. And not every Starbucks. It's not like every Starbucks in the world is doing this. But they noticed something.
So I'm in the Starbucks drive-thru line. I get my drink. It's $5.25. And when I went to pay, she didn't give me the little screen that said if I wanted to ask for a tip or not. She just took my card, and I get a notification from Wells Fargo saying I was charged $10.25. So this was before I drove off. I, rolled down my window and I was like, excuse me, why was I charged $10.25 for my $5.25 coffee? And she's like, she got all nervous and flustered. So she's like, oh, you didn't tip me $5? I was like, well, you didn't even give me the little screen to choose a tip. So no, I didn't tip you $5. So just be careful, because I think some of these employees, when they're not showing you the screen to select a tip, they're choosing what tip that they want to tip themselves, thinking that you're not going to notice.
So is this a one-time thing, or is this, I'm not going to say everyone's doing it. She even said some in the post.
I've never had, I've been to Starbucks plenty of times. I've never had that happen personally, but I'm sure it does.
You're in a service.
Yeah, I've never had it happen at a Starbucks. However, I do know there are service workers that will tip themselves.
So if you don't put the tip in, if you don't assign a tip to it, boy, it's in a dirty. If you don't assign a tip to it, then they'll just write their own number in there.
Oh, for sure. Especially like being a server or whatever. I have seen my coworkers do that, where they will, if you don't write something in, if you leave cash or don't write anything in, they will put their own tip, which is not legal or nice.
Especially if somebody left cash on top of it. Like, I'd be a little cheesed.
Yeah.
I guess having been in the service industry, then I take one of my receipts with, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Sure.
I have proof of what the transaction was. And then I fill it in if I leave a cash tip, which is preferable because, you know what I'm saying, taxes. But okay, so that doesn't sound that good. But anyway,
no, I'm with you. We do the same thing.
Then I'm going to draw a line.
So is that enough if you just draw a line through it, or should you do more to squiggle out like the tip thing, or what do you do?
A line is plenty.
Or do you write no tip in there?
I draw a line and I draw a line and I put the total in, and that's it.
All right.
So
yeah, be careful for sure. Definitely. I've seen it firsthand, like servers doing that type of stuff. So I believe it with the Starbucks employee, but make sure you see that screen, I guess.
I've sat down at a table, and if just for a split second, you sit down and the restaurant's busy, or you're at a Coney or something, and the check's there, and you open it up, and they'd left it open, and they'd signed it, but they left the tip thing open. And you're like, I wonder if I just wrote a number in there so I could get the server a couple extra bucks. I would never do it. Oh my gosh. I would never do it. But I thought about
that.
I've thought about it.
I would more like look at it and just be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that.
Well,
if you are doing that, please don't do it moving forward.
I figure if I go to Starbucks and they get my name right on the side of the cup, they're going to write in extra money.
That's That's what you're going with.
Yeah,
that's what it has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard because the service industry, then it was always a lot of fun because it's a lot of type A people and stuff, but there's a lot of turnover and there's definitely the occasional shady. I mean, I can't even say I'm not totally guilty. I had a party that it was some kind of coupon that they had used. And so if you had a party of 6 or more, a gratuity was automatically put into it.
Sure.
And I guess they didn't read that. So they gave me a tip on top of it. And I was like, thank you. I did not tell them like, oh, the gratuity's already included. I was like, wow, I must have really given them great service.
Yeah,
fine.
That's a happy mistake. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's a happy mistake.
That's a happy mistake.
I like that
I like
one.
that, yeah.
No, we're keeping
keep
that one.
Jenny. That's a good one.
If I was them, I'd want to learn a lesson.
Exactly. Probably what that Starbucks worker was saying too.
Thank you. But they spelled lesson wrong, like they spell your name wrong on the side of the cup.
All
right. So anyway, Donnie's the crook of the show this morning.
This morning.
Yeah.